Hello, welcome. My name is Marilyn Liva. Today I'm going to do something different. I want to talk about something that's on my heart, something that I have a passion for, and some of you may already know the topic of autism. A quick disclaimer. In no way should you take anything in this video as medical advice. I am a parent of two autistic children, one 16 and one 6. I do have other children as well, but I have two who are diagnosed with autism. I understand, I have experiences of living with autism. So, and I just want to share my research, my knowledge, and my experiences, just to empower, inform, and to just give people an understanding of what exactly is autism from the perspective of a parent living with autism, impacted by autism, the families living with autism. Right. So, I'm talking about definitions or descriptions or approaches of autism, a range of definitions. So there's not a certain number of definitions, and there's not just one definition of autism or approach to autism or to understanding autism. Okay, so I just picked some of the few that I picked because they sort of represent different perspectives. So the first one is the simplistic textbook definition of autism. And I will put the references below this video when I'm done. Okay. So the simplest textbook definition, and you can also find this on websites, etc. It's autism. Autism also interchangeably used, ASD, autism spectrum disorder. So those two words are used interchangeably. Autism or ASD refers to a broad range of conditions by challenges with social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech and nonverbal communication. According to the Centers for Disease Control, autism affects an estimated 1 in 54 children in the United States today. And I got that one from Autism Speaks, their website. That 1 in 54 is a 2020 statistic, so it's the most current from the United States. Although this definition sounds, so politically correct, like it's just the right terms and everything, it literally just scratches the surface. It doesn't really tell you in depth what is autism. For someone who does not know what autism is, or probably has never heard what autism is, like when my child was first diagnosed with autism, I had never heard of that word before. This was in 2005, 2006. I had never heard of that word before, ever. So that was pretty shocking, pretty, interesting. So, yeah, you won't really get an in-depth understanding of what is autism. And if you don't live with someone who's autistic or work with people impacted by autism, you just think, autism is like, something to do with speech, something to do with social skills. You won't really have an in-depth understanding of what autism is, even just by reading that simple textbook definition. Okay. And that simple textbook definition is very similar to the National the National Autistic Society definition, the NAS, which describes autism as a lifelong developmental disability which affects how people communicate and interact with the world. 1 in 100 people in the UK, including adults and children, that's the statistic that they've given, are affected with autism. So, my problem with the 1:100 statistic is that it's an old statistic. It's 2011 statistic. I will have to check on what reference that one is. From where they actually got the original statistic for 1:100, because it is cited on various websites. It's cited on the National Autistic Society, on the NHS, and on a lot of known websites. The 1:100. It's an old statistic, and I would like to appeal to whoever is responsible to update this information with at least the 2020 autism prevalence statistic, because autism is on the rise, and I think it's really important for people to be a bit more aware, and for interventions to be put in place by giving the correct statistics. I know for you to get the correct statistic, I did approach some of the relevant bodies, and I was told that you have to put in a freedom of information request to get that information, because it's not available to the public, and that's a bit of a problem. Okay, right, so let's talk about the medical definition of autism, and that is a more sort of sophisticated university intellectual jargon. A spectrum of neuropsychiatric disorders characterized by deficits in social interaction and communication, and unusual and repetitive behavior. Some, but not all, people with autism are nonverbal. Though accurate, but still it might not make sense to the everyday person because of all the jargon. I got that from medicinenet.com. Then I'm going to talk about the biomedical definition of autism, which brings together the biological and the medical aspects of autism. Biomedical approach is focused on determining and treating the root cause of the autistic symptoms. Many physicians believe that an underlying problem with the immune, digestive, or endocrine systems may cause or lead to autism symptoms. The biomedical supposition is that finding and treating the root condition could reduce or eliminate the child's autism symptoms, as well as achieve greater overall health. And I got that from the website Applied Behavior Analysis. I'll put that as well. The biomedical is taking a more biological approach and exploring the body, rather than, or as opposed to, the other definitions which are used in the medical, where they just base autism on observations and suppositions. The biomedical, they are not just doing that, but they are now looking into the immune system, the digestive system, as well as the endocrine systems. You will find in a lot of children or individuals impacted with autism, you'll find that a lot of them have comorbidities. These are additional problems that are not just autism. They could be speech delay, speech deficit, problems with physical parts of their body, problems with their stomach, with the gut lining, problems with sight, with ears, maybe ear infections, eyesight problems, blurry eyesight, eye infections. They may have a whole range of different conditions, one condition or even more conditions that would need attention as well, and may be impacting on their general well-being, their general health. So it's very important to address all physical aspects of wellness, because those things will have an impact on your mental health or your mental state. So the biomedical is actually used a lot in the Western world. There are many specialists in that area. There is research available, but it is overshadowed by the medical perspective of this. The medical tends to overshadow everything. It's widely used, and the media also sort of focuses more on the mainstream media focuses more on the medical side of autism as opposed to the biomedical side of autism. But if you do your research, you will find that there's a lot of information regarding the biomedical side of autism and the effective interventions that reduce autistic symptoms and, improve wellness. Not completely, totally heal, but there are some cases you'd be surprised to hear other people will have their own testimonies, but that's a matter of researching and finding out what's happening out in our world. Then there's the cellular scientist description that I picked, which is one in many. His name is Dr. Nemechek. He's the guy who wrote a book called the Nemechek Protocol. There are many similar, scientists, cellular scientists, and this guy is a cellular scientist. He takes a neuroscientific cellular perspective, So according to Dr. Nemechek and his research, he describes autism as autism occurs as bacterial overgrowth in the gut and leads to inflammation in the body, which then results in altered immune cells in the brain. These altered immune cells lead to disordered neural pruning that causes developmental delays and brain injury. Personally, I do like some of the detail. I like it when they go in depth, because I personally believe that autism is more than just something that you can observe. It's more than something you can just make assumptions of. I think there's more of a biological aspect onto that, because there is evidence to support the biological side. Although you will find that in programs, for example, university programs, they may not take these perspectives. They will select and go with the medical perspectives, completely brushing off the biomedical perspectives and the cellular scientists or neuroscience perspectives. As a result, the research is going to take so long to catch up, and we will not, address autism as quick as, if science all came together. We could have better results if all the aspects came together. Anyway, Dr. Nemechek, I want to recommend you research the cytokine storm. He also elaborates on what the cytokine storm is in his book, which is a really good read and a really eye-opening perspective as to his research on what is autism. I'm sorry, my phone. Right. So, the other definition, which is a very important perspective, is the perspective of the parents. The parents like me, the people who are impacted by autism, the individuals impacted by autism, and carers, or those supporting, or working with people with autism. Our perspective is not to be taken lightly. In fact, we are the experts of our experience. We are the ones who inform practice in the most accurate way. We inform legislation, we inform policies. So our perspective is really important for if we are going to be working with other professionals, there should be like a balance of power. Our perspectives are are to be, listened to and respected, if you know what I'm saying. Right. Okay, 1 second. I'm just going to move on to elaborate our perspective, or should I say my perspective? Okay. From what I know, what I've heard of, what I've experienced, it's mixed up. So it's not going to, I might just repeat a few things, but don't worry. So I'm going to talk about what I will describe autism to be on a daily, on a regular basis, how I live, or some experiences I've seen or heard, etc. Or read about. But when you hear these things, you understand. I will understand another parent who also is impacted with autism in their home. I will understand, because I'll know what some of the things that they're going through. It will make sense to me, but it might not make sense to somebody who's never seen this before. Okay, so there's the good side, there's the bad side. Okay, so I'm just gonna go running through because there's a lot. Parents, individuals, carers, and families impacted by autism will have their own definitions. We have our own definitions, right? Understanding and experiences of autism. Okay. We can inform practice. I said that. Right. Definitions and descriptions on the negative side include things like sleep issues, sleep deprivation, not just for the child, but for the parents, even affecting your marriage, intimacy, all those things. It's all affected. If one child has autism, it doesn't just affect the child, it affects the whole family. If 2 children have autism, it's double. Okay? If 3 children, it's triple. So whatever happens, it's affecting everybody, the dynamic of that family. Okay, so feeding issues. Some children need to be fed. Even at 5, 6 years, they still need you to feed them. Even at 10 years, they still need you to feed them because they don't want to feed by themselves. They can't. I don't know what it is that makes them not, unable to feed themselves. But those are some of the issues. Digestion issues, gut issues, hyperactivity, screaming, humming, or mooing like a cow. Moo. I don't know why they call it mooing, but I've heard people say it's mooing. Yeah, and it's like humming, right? Repetitive behaviors, repetitive actions, holding the face, smiles, laughing for no apparent reason, smiling or laughing, for no apparent reason, or what may seem to be no apparent reason to us, stripping, removing clothes, screaming, ripping clothes, spitting, removing layers, that excessive spitting, removing layers of clothes, being uncomfortable with clothes or underwear, bedwetting even at an older age, wearing nappies even at an older age, even at 18 still wearing nappies, even during the day, incontinence, mashing food, refusing food, intolerant to food, wanting the same type of food, like having a fixation on a specific type of food. For example, rice for breakfast, rice for lunch, rice for supper, and refusing anything else. They won't even eat, even if you offer them something else, unless it's the same food that they prefer. Right. Yeah, okay. Poop smearing, like smearing poo, peeing on themselves, peeing on the floor, these are things that many parents with children with autism face on a daily basis. Okay, bedwetting, I think I've said that. Ripping mattress, cutting mattress, eating mattress, the stuffing inside the mattress, sniffing strangers, hiding from new faces, aggressive toward new faces, pinching, scratching, hitting, slapping, jumping, non-verbal, being unable to speak or express themselves. In some cases, if speech delay, unable to actually form the words, and you never really get to know your child the way you would want to know your child. restlessness, lack of concentration or focus, unable to read, learning disabilities, unable to write independently, lack of focus, attention, lack of eye contact, lining toys instead of playing with them, not playing with others but alongside others, restlessness, fixation or specific spaces, for example, wanting to sit on the same corner of the sofa, refusing to be active, lack of engagement, lack of awareness of safety, food intolerances, dislike for food textures, can just wander off if unsupervised, refusing to get a haircut or braided or styled, highly dependent and unable to develop independent skills, needing help with motivation, need help with self-care and grooming, for example, bathing, toileting, menstrual hygiene, tooth care. Yes, a lot of parents struggle with tooth care. The children might not want to brush their teeth, and then they have to go to specialist dentists. Constipation, medication, supplementation, some side effects of medication, how medication may impact on behavior, subject to bullying, discrimination, neglect, and the list goes on. So the next time somebody tells you that they have children with autism, please be more empathetic. That person most likely will be going through a lot. Okay, it's not all bad. We've got the positive side. In general, autistic children are very loving, sensitive, caring, talented, kind, and very intelligent. Sometimes they'll exhibit great art skills, great drawings, paintings, and that's why you should encourage them to do more in the creative side of things. Great number of skills, numeracy skills. Some autistic people cannot write a written exam. But you'll be surprised that if you gave them an oral exam, they will ace that exam. Some have such a sharp memory, they will remember what happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, to the detail. And I think if governments were to make a consideration regarding the type of exams that could be written by some autistic children, they could give them oral exams as opposed to the one-size-fits-all written exams. Those don't work for everybody. It's not that the person is not intelligent, but they just don't know. They don't perform well with a written exam. They'll ace an oral exam even better than the people who wrote the exams. Who write the exams. Right. Some autistic people will have sharp vision. They can see. They can find a needle or an earring in the grass or a needle in a haystack. I don't know. It's really, really, really talented, really sharp vision. Very sensory. Some have a very strong sense of taste. The senses are really sharp. Very sensory to textures and love sensory toys, cuddly toys, and they can balance things as well. You find that they can lay things on top of each other and they won't fall. That's great balancing skills. And they're also very sensitive, generally very kind souls who will never intend to harm anyone and just want to be accepted, assisted, and empowered as according to their needs. So no autistic person is the same, but you'll find a lot of similar characteristics. But the level of autism, it impacts on each individual in a different way. Then you'll find the savant, who is a genius. This type of person with autism, called the savant, they will have a photographic memory. They'll be able to see like London, and they can just, there's a guy called Stephen Wiltshire. I think he has a real photographic memory. Stephen Wiltshire. He was taken on a helicopter ride across London, and he was able to paint in detail what he saw, and it was accurate. So that would be very interesting. Go have a look online. And yes, okay, then yeah, that's it, I think. So today my aim was to just give a fair presentation of what is autism, looking at the range of perspectives, or descriptions, or definitions of what is autism. And I hope I have not offended anyone who is impacted by autism or has autism. And my objective is to spread awareness and to get people talking more about autism and to get an understanding about this issue or topic. And that's about it really for today. And I thank you so much for watching this video. And I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.